if I'm gonna like take the time to like learn to bend my foot, I should just learn to bend my real foot rather than my virtual foot.
Yeah.
Let's be best friends.
So,
All right.
we got through who, where, and why. We've already learned a lot about each other, I think.
Yeah,
We're gonna get into here on Let's Be Best Friends. If this is your first episode watching, Marc Hallworth. It's not his first episode watching. Score.
This is great.
If this is your first time watching, we try and do something while we talk. I always ask the guests something that they like to do because I think the easiest way to have a conversation with someone is just doing something that they like doing. And shit, I like discovering people's hobbies. I think it's fun as hell. So, and I've seen this because I follow you on Instagram. If anyone doesn't follow him on Instagram, @HallworthMarc, go follow him. He puts up these skateboarding videos in quarantine, and I had no idea. We had met before, and we had been on I don't remember if we had been on a show or just around the same shows. I had no clue until I saw you doing these skateboarding videos on Instagram. You're like fucking Tony Hawk of comedy out here. You're just
no,
like...
I'm not. No, see, this is what's hilarious.
You're out here, you got no shirt on, you're like doing all this crazy kickflips and shit, and I'm just like, hell yeah, man, let's go.
That's very nice of you to say. What that tells me is that you don't know a lot about skateboarding because I am not doing anything impressive at all. Everything I'm doing can be done by most 9-year-olds.
Yeah, but I mean, shit, this could be done by most 9-year-olds. That doesn't fucking... 9-year-olds are so smart now, I don't care.
I guess so, yeah.
9-year-olds can code. Like, I don't know, man.
That's true. Good point. I don't know. One cool thing about this pandemic... No, that's not true. One thing about the pandemic... This isn't cool at all. But
one cool thing about this thing that's killed millions of people is skateboarding.
Is because I don't know, I've never done this before. I've never shared skateboarding. Skateboarding was always such like an individual thing. Mm-hmm. The tricks I do, I don't care what other people are doing or what other people think is cool. Or whatever. I just want to do what I'm doing, and it feels good, and it feels good to progress in this kind of way. It's kind of like comedy is something you share. I really want that audience to enjoy it. Or whatever. Skateboarding, I don't care, or whatever. It changes according to me. There's no teams, there's no management, there's no nothing. I just do whatever I want to do. Yeah. And then whenever I am tired, I go inside. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh God, I gotta put the hours in or whatever. I don't know. I'm not. And so I love it. Well, yeah. How did this get? I'm sorry, I derailed the conversation.
No, it's okay. It's the same thing you were saying, right? Is that like it's not the thing that you're trying to do for the rest of your life. It's just the thing that you like doing.
Oh.
Like you're not Tony Hawk, you're not Rodney Mullen, you're Marc Hallworth, like skateboarding, man. Like
and this is that's the important thing is this is the first time I've ever shared it with anybody.
Wow,
and that's a weird feeling to I don't know be on and off skateboarding for 20 years maybe I guess, and then being like, wow, if I filmed it, would it look any good too? That's the other thing. Like there's 4 different stances in skateboarding where I could pop off with my regular feet. I'm really comfortable with my left foot forward and pushing with my right and popping with my right. So that would be called like a regular ollie, would be like a basic pop or whatever. Huh? But I could also do things off the nose of the board. And that would be a nollie. That would be called a nollie. And then I can do the third stance would be, even though my left foot forward is regular, and that's the comfortable one, that doesn't mean I can't switch things up and actually try to do things with my opposite feet. And so if I pop off the back of the board with my opposite feet, that would be called a switch ollie. And then if I pop off the front of the board with my opposite feet, that would be called a fakie ollie. So those 4 stances or whatever, if I do like a trick or something and you don't know what my stance is or whatever, you might be like, I don't know, like that looked like switch ollie or switch, I don't know, let's say like switch pop shove it's are so much harder, but they don't look any better.
Yeah, they look the same. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't know if you're just watching somebody. And so that's a concern. So like when I'm putting out these videos, and I really like trying to do a trick and then doing it in all 4 stances. Yeah. But then when I chuck it on the gram, everyone's like, this looks dumb. Like
that's crazy. Knows I'm the exact opposite. I literally watch your story like every single time I go on Instagram because I'm like, I want to see what Marc did today. I want to see like I love that shit, man. I love people like you're like. I think the thing about me that attracts me to the whole thing with you and why I wanted you on the show so bad is that like you're so passionate about the things you do. Like even like that skateboarding. There's probably hundreds of people. I mean, there is hundreds of people who skateboard, but there's hundreds of people who've probably done a trick and been like, I should put this somewhere, but they don't have that like want to do it or need to do it. Whereas you're like, no, man, like this is something I love doing, and I'm gonna do a trick that people might not understand is really sick, but I think it's really sick, and I'm gonna put it on there in case anyone else thinks it's kind of sick.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And I love that.
I was trying to put those descriptions into it too, being like, okay, so let me explain. This is I'm popping off with my opposite feet. I'm going backwards through the sky. This was hard for these reasons.
Yeah.
You just inspired me of another trick. Oh man, I'm glad we talked. I'm gonna write this down.
Hell yeah!
I just thought of another combination that I can do on a thing next to my house.
I'm so glad.
That is awesome. What it would be? It would be a backside. You ride up a bank. You do a backside body varial, to fakie 360 pivot. I guess. Yeah.
So
cool. I don't know how cool that's gonna look. Yeah, I don't know.
Out of curiosity, did you ever play any skateboarding video games, or were you just?
Oh yeah. So
right?
I played Tony Hawk 2.
Nice.
When it came out, and then maybe 3 and 4 as well. I can't remember. I think 3 was okay. It was kind of fun.
I think 2 was the best.
I think 2 was probably the best.
Yeah.
And then when Skate came out and the mechanics, so EA Skate was another game.
Yeah.
And the mechanics are completely different with you got these joysticks now, and you hated that.
I hated Skate.
So you're gonna hate this other one that
I'm Tony Hawk till I die, man.
Yeah, right. Our Tony Hawk was too insane. That was the problem. But it was very like fun, I guess, for people that didn't know anything about skateboarding. So Skate was like it's still pretty cartoonish, but it's kind of I don't know, closer to what your feet are
there's more intricacy and stuff to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now there's another one that just came out called Skater XL, which I
saw that.
It's mind blowing.
It's like a fucking math equation to a kickflip.
Pardon me?
I said it's like a math equation to a kickflip.
Oh, it's like so hard. Yeah, it's really cool. So one stick is your right foot and one stick is your left foot, and you have to like time everything out perfectly to like flick it at the same time.
Yeah,
it's really fun, but it's not even. It almost might be too real for me.
Because you're like, I'm skating in real life. I don't need this kind of pressure.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna like take the time to like learn to bend my foot, I should just learn to bend my real foot rather than my virtual foot.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, cool. This is my hobby is that I really like skateboarding.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into it. We're watching almost round 3, which is a skateboarding movie from, when's this from? Do you know?
I think it's actually from 2005. I saw something that said 2004, but it's around that time.
Okay, so the peak of kind of skateboarding culture, right?
I guess. I don't know. There's probably 1,000 peaks of skateboarding culture. Yeah. We've been talking about this guy, Rodney Mullen, and he skated a lot with his good friend, Daewon Song, this Korean guy.
Yeah.
And they were like outstanding. And they started doing this thing of like, I think back in 97 or something, they had a video called Round 1 because they were on a lot of the same skate teams and stuff. Okay. So they'd skate together all the time. And they were like, oh, we could make a thing called Rodney and Daewon Friends, but why don't we call it Rodney versus Daewon?
Yeah.
Kids totally got into it, and they were like, oh, man, Rodney killed it. No.
Oh, yeah.
So it made like this thing. And then a couple of years later, they were like, want to do it again, round 2? And it forced them to like compete because I guess they would call each other and they'd be like, I'm sorry, what did you just land? Oh, God, I got to up my game.
Yeah, no, I got to land the better version of that.
Yeah, I got to do something else. And their tricks are kind of complementary, but opposite in a weird way. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're doing the same kind of... They both have their own styles and stuff, you know what I mean? So then this is round 3, which came out maybe 6 years after round 2. So should we go to if anybody wants to join?
So if anyone wants to join at home, link's going to be in the description. I'm going to put it there for you.
Oh, is it? Okay.
We're starting at a minute 40. We just kind of skipped the opening credits. Also because it does just blare into Any Way You Want It by Boston, and it's crazy how out of all the things that probably would have gotten this channel copyright struck, it definitely would have been that. Like, we've watched full episodes of cartoons and, like, TV shows. That's the thing that probably would have gotten us.
That's so funny.
So, all right. If you'd like to count us in, we're starting at 140.
Okay, here we go. With Chris Haslam from Niagara Falls. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, click.
Beautiful.
So, he does a frontside Smith, and then... a nollie flip. And look at this. The first trick is so ridiculous that he rides another skateboard. He pops on.
Yeah, okay.
You see that? That's crazy.
Insane.
So this is what I'm talking about, the creativity of, like, Chris Haslam especially is kind of famously creative.
Okay.
On Yeah, nobody says how to ride a board. You can just do whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
No one cares. You can do whatever you want. I remember one time, I was talking about those 4 different stances.
Mm-hmm.
A kid was like skating in the park or something, and I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was with friends. We were doing like a photo thing for a sketch show. But I saw this kid skating, and I was like all restless, and I was like, "Hey man, can I do a trick on your board?" And he's like, "You betcha." And he passes me his board, and I stand on it nollie with my feet on the front of the board.
Yeah.
And so this is great. He goes, "Hey sir, hey man, mister, that's not how you stand on the board." And right when he says that, I do a nollie frontside shove it, it's called, where it floats in the air, but it's sprung off the front of the board.
So he did a super sick trick, and he was like,
stand. And he was like, oh, never mind. And I gave him back his board. I was like, never let anybody tell you how to not stand on this thing.
Damn, you changed that kid's life.
Yeah, I changed his life.
Holy shit. You changed the way he thinks about everything, man.
Yeah, totally. I remember one time in Calgary, I saw a kid learn, a musician. He was playing guitar with this like class band or something.
Yeah.
And he, I guess his instructor was like, "Nah, man, you could just, for these 2 bars, play whatever you want. Just improvise something within the scale." And his head, you could see, he was like, "What? What do you mean? I could just do anything?" And the teacher was like, "Yeah, man." And like the kid's freedom, like you just saw like an entire world open up in this guy's head. Cool.
Man, skateboarding is so sick. I understand it. I barely understand skateboarding because, like I said, like we were talking about before the show, I used to skateboard when I was younger, but I was shit at it because I was just a fat kid. I was a fat kid who liked Tony Hawk games and like watched the X Games, and it was like 2004, so like everyone skateboarded.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
I have a mechanic understanding of how it works, but every time I watch skateboarding videos, I'm like, this is fucking sick as hell. Like this is just cool.
Well,
Everything
this guy. So this trick, one-footed frontside board slide, pop
Holy
shove it out,
shit.
which is nuts. You don't see that ever. You know what I mean? This is just Chris Haslam being nuts. You know what I mean?
This is just a guy just like. Man, the thing I love about skateboarding videos is at the heart of it, it's just people showing off, but it's so sick that you don't mind. Like, it's so cool that you're just like hell yeah, man.
It is like an artistic kind of expression, too, where it's like nobody does. So we're on to Cooper Wilt's part. Here we go. You're going to love a lot of this, a lot of roof gaps. So he sets up like he skates from one roof to the other.
It's like skateboarding parkour, man.
Yeah, this is out of control, and the roof is disgusting in this video. It's covered in leaves and stuff. But yeah, a lot of these tricks, let's see, when somebody does like a 360 flip or something, this guy's kind of bold base, so he might not do. He's going to do a backside nose grind next. Oh, crap, sorry, never done. I know this video super well, but I don't know it that well, I guess. But the way they do certain things is so unique to that person and that attempt. You know what I mean? Like
it's like it's an art form, right? It's very like expression.
Kind of. It's an expression, sort of. Yeah. I don't know. And it's really weird that that's how it grows and floats and stuff. Like, and even yourself, you have days like I skate. I try to skate every day, and then some days it's just like, oh, this is not a switch stance kind of day. Like my body just does not want to do this.
This is not happening today.
Yeah. There's other tricks called manuals where you balance on 2 wheels.
I love manuals. Manuals are my favorite shit.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes you just have good manual days. Like, I don't know, like everything you try, you're just locked in right away and you can just float on those 2 wheels forever.
Yeah.
And
some days you go to do it and it just falls.
Yeah. I've been trying to do what's called a backside 180 over an obstacle into a bank. So I pop up and I only rotate 180 degrees, but I go backwards through the sky as I'm doing it.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, so I turn that way, and then I land on a downhill thing that speeds up pretty quick. So I got to really be like alert, and I got to lean that way when I land. Or else I'll slip out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're going. So what you're saying is you're going up on 2 wheels and you're rotating. So you're facing backwards, right?
I'm not balancing on 2 wheels.
Okay.
I do pop, I guess, go off the 2. So I ride up to the obstacle with all 4 wheels, And then, sorry, that clip was insane that we just saw he slides across the edge of a building. Anyway, Cooper Wilt's incredible. This video is like 15 years old too, and it's still crazy.
It's crazy. You could see this shit on Instagram tomorrow, and you'd still be like, "Damn, skateboarding, man."
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever heard of this kid, Ryan Sheckler?
You know what's funny is I heard about him because did you ever play Disney Extreme, or did you hear about the Disney skateboarding game?
No, that sounds hilarious.
So there's a skateboarding game, and it runs on like the Tony Hawk engine, right? It's the same basic thing, right? Sure. And the whole gimmick was it was like kid friendly, so the game was a little bit easier, and you could play as like Woody and Buzz Lightyear and all these Disney characters. Super sick. All there's like Andy's Room and like Pride Rock from Lion King. It was super sick.
And you could skate all this stuff?
Yeah, greatest video game ever made. Greatest video game ever made. But they also had a contest before the game came out where you went to this place. I think it was in like LA. You went to this place, you got to play the game early, and you could sign up to a skateboarding competition. And it was like an all ages skateboarding competition. And if you did well in like, there was like, you know, the 18 plus, the 13 plus, and the 8 plus division, whatever, right? Sure. So whoever did the best got in the game. So they put all these kids in the game, and this was one of the guys who got in the game, if I remember correctly.
His name was Ryan Sheckler.
I'm almost positive this is because I remember I would always they had like the make your own skater like Tony Hawk, so I'd always play my own skater because I whatever. But then if I ever wanted to play one of the kid skaters, I always picked Ryan.
Okay.
And it was just this kid. So I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
Yeah, he's been skating for a long time.
Could be insanely
I think
wrong.
Probably his first kind of big part.
Yeah.
And I think he had like an MTV show or something. That's why, or like Ryan's Adventures or something. Yeah, where like him and his skate buddies would ride around and, you know, skate some fun spots, but then go kind of wreak havoc in Malibu or whatever.
It was one of those things where it was like, it was a skate show, but it was also Jackass because that's just what we did.
Kinda, yeah. I don't know if it was as like insane as Jackass.
Yeah, nothing tops Jackass, man.
Yeah. But it was like people on the road and having fun, and he, I guess, is sort of seen as a sellout for those reasons.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. But the skateboarding speaks for itself, man. He has like signature tricks, kind of. He's so good at backside flips and full cabs and any kind of fakey thing. God, it's this kind of gets you hyped to go skateboarding, sort of, but at the same time, you're always like, oh, I can't do any of these things.
Yeah. But I think I think the most interesting part about any hobby is that it's like every hobby has something like this, where they have I play a lot of video games, and so like I'll watch combo videos from like fighting games, and then I'll see people do all this crazy shit, and they string all these moves together, and then I'm like, oh, I got it. Like, I'm going to go sit down and just, you know, try and figure it out, try and play the game and try and figure out what he did. And it's the same thing as like this, where you watch this and you're like, oh, he did like that. Like you can describe it way better than I can. But you see someone do like a backslide fakie 180 or something, and you're like, oh, I want to do that, but I want to do it like this. Like,
right.
I think that's the coolest part.
You were talking about video games or whatever, the Tony Hawk games. Or whatever. There's a guy named Bob Burnquist who was featured in the
Love Bob
games.
Burnquist. And that was my Tony Hawk main. That was my guy. I always played Bob.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
Always played Bob.
A big vert guy and stuff. He's got an incredible part called Dreamland, where it's like mega ramp stuff. It's outrageous what he does. But he invented a trick. I think it's in Dreamland, actually, but it's inspired by the Tony Hawk games.
Oh, really?
Where he thought it was funny that in Tony Hawk you could like come out of a half pipe and then you could just press X or whatever and it's a kickflip. But then you catch it perfectly in the sky, and then you can press X again. He just does another kickflip. You can just keep pressing X, and he just like until he has to come back into the pipe. But he was like, "Can I do anything like that?" So he invented something called the Samba flip, where he comes out of the pipe, he does a kickflip, and he catches it out of the sky, and then with his hand he throws it again, and it flips a second time, and he catches it again. This is all meanwhile flying through the sky.
Literally, yeah,
and then he puts it under his feet and goes right back in.
Man.
So it's kind of neat that a video game inspired like a trick, you know what I mean? That I guess he just watched what lunatics were doing, and he was like, I guess I can maybe get close to that.
How many times do you think he almost killed himself trying to figure that out?
I don't know. It's interesting because the idea is maybe even half the battle.
That's true, yeah. Getting to that point, yeah.
Yeah, how do you even get there? That's kind of one thing that's funny about skateboarding is that like even the idea, like the amount of hurting yourself you're gonna have to do to execute this idea. But I don't know, man. It doesn't sound like he could have done that in a smaller environment. Like, I think you need to fly out of a half pipe.
Yeah, for sure. You need the speed even to just be like, just to be able to flip, grab up, and like, there's so much going on. You would need it, right?
Now, to his credit, the first half of that trick is probably pretty straightforward because he's done that a billion times.
Yeah.
You kickflip and catch it out of the sky.
Yeah.
But then throwing it and catching it again, probably.
That's the thing that gets me.
This is insane.
The amount of just coordination that would take.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, so maybe you can have you ever done one of those, like, have you ever been on one of those big ramps? Probably, right?
No, I've never done a full pipe or whatever. I don't care about half pipes or any of that kind of stuff. Okay. Again, the skateboarding I'm doing is not... I just do what I want to do, man.
Yeah. I just wonder when you kind of get over the idea of, I mean, getting over it's kind of a weird way to put it, but like getting over the idea of like, I could seriously injure myself doing this. When does that go away and it just becomes like, like that? I guess it's a confidence thing, right?
I think it's also like a familiarity of like, I can fall, or like I will be able to, like right now, if I'm just riding down the street and the street's clean enough or whatever, and there's like a curb, and I'm riding on the sidewalk and I can hop off the curb. That doesn't like frighten me.
Yeah, you don't even think about it anymore.
I guess. But when I was like 15, I had to think about it a lot to be like, oh God, here I go. And I remember learning that, riding off a curb, because you have to do like a little bit of a manual. You have to lift your front just a second, because you can't just ride clunk, clunk, like front wheels down, back wheels down. You have to actually kind of balance that out and then bend your knees when you land and ride away.
Yeah.
So now that's kind of second nature. I don't really think about that at all. But maybe that's what happened to Bob Burnquist is that, flying out of this pipe and flipping this and catching that. I don't even think about that part.
Yeah. The real bitch of it was catching it again.
Yeah.
That's the real thing.
What the hell? But also he's really good at falling too, I'm sure. That's one thing I suck at is when you see people attempt these like crazy rails or stairs or whatever, you see they get on it, or if they lose balance or something like that, they seem to be able to pop off of it really easily.
Yeah.
Or not easily, but they can like pop off in a coordinated way and run out because they have the momentum or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't just like hit the stairs every time. You know what I mean?
They've got falling down to a way. I mean, that happens probably, right? If you've been doing it like that really seriously for years and years and years and years and years, like you have to, like, otherwise you're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna break every bone in your body.
This is the problem with being an old 33-year-old. I haven't learned how to. So I had a fall yesterday, and I don't know if you can see this.
Ooh, yep. That's a battle scar.
Right on my palm.
Damn, dude.
It's just, it's been happening a lot this summer where sometimes the bales just go straight down. And like I catch myself with my palm. And sometimes I've noticed I roll out of it and it feels okay. And it probably looks crazy because I'm like roll. But that one yesterday, I thought I can kind of stop, but then it was like palm first and then a scrape. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like, I got to learn how to bail.
Did you
same in comedy, man. You like learn how to bomb. You just learn how to walk away from it.
Yeah.
Being like, that set went brutal and it was completely my fault. And I got to figure that out for tomorrow.
Did you get back on the board after that, or did you pack up for the day? Oh, yeah?
No, I skated the rest of the day. Nice. I was a little worried. I don't want to get infected or anything, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
I had water and I kind of like rinsed my hands.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to get dirty and stuff. But I'm trying to think of injuries I've had this summer or this like pandemic that I was so another thing which is hilarious, and maybe we can link this one day, is I'm trying to put together a little old skate video of my own, which is like at the end of the summer being like, thanks COVID, you fucking piece of shit. Like,
at least I got a sick combo video out of it. Like,
yeah, exactly. So and it's like 2 minutes to a Rat-a-tat song.
Yeah.
And but there's a trick I do in it that it's called a switch frontside shove it, and I do it off of a curb. And it's not, I wasn't particularly good at this trick anyway. I should not have been trying this off of a curb. Yeah. But I fell like a billion times, and I really hurt myself. And I did land it, but some of these, I put all the bales in there too, just because of how much I wanted people to know that this hurt.
Yeah.
Here's Rodney Mullen, by the way. Check out this combo.
My boy. God, I love
nose manual. Handstand, kickflip out to nose manual.
That's crazy.
Ooh.
One wheel there.
Yeah, one wheel 360. These little pivots. And then he also does, handstand to primo.
With one hand, too?
Flip out. Boom.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that nuts?
Rodney Mullen's a crazy person, man.
Are outrageous, yeah.
The reverse manual situation? I don't know what you call it. What's the upside-down manual?
What do you mean? Oh, Casper's maybe? Where the board is completely upside down?
Yeah.
When you're sliding across the surface and the board is upside down?
And it's like,
So that's actually called a truck stand where he does it. So a manual or a Casper would be if your back foot was on the tail.
Okay.
But he's doing at this point of the show.
Yeah.
He's doing what's called a truck stands where you flip it upside down and his foot is not on the tail. It's actually standing on the truck.
Oh man.
The truck, for anybody that doesn't know, is like the turning mechanism that connects the wheels to the deck.
Okay. That's the metal part, right?
Yeah, that's that. So these are called primo slides, and this is when this first came out.
That's insane.
Flipping it, 3/4 of the way. This is when this video came out, man. Primo slides, and just wait, man. The primo slide combinations he's about to do are so crazy, but they all kind of look the same, which is why I was like, I don't know if this is the best video to show Cole.
No, man. Fuck. If you can do a cool trick 700 times, I think that's fine. Like, even if I don't understand what's different about it, if it's the same trick over and over again, I'm like, that's fucking so sick, dude. That's cool as hell.
Yeah, I guess there's like, man, have you noticed in comedy there's certain like balances like that where it's like, oh wait, this is a joke where I have to pause for a second, and the pause changes depending on the size of the crowd or depending on the energy of things. It's really kind of cool to be like, and it's funny when it goes wrong too, where it's happened a few times where I'm like, oops, I gave this a second too long of a pause. And now they think I'm like confident.
Yeah.
now they think I'm cocky.
Yeah. Well, I had that a lot when I first got into comedy because of the fact that I was surrounded with comics who were doing it way longer than me. I had it in my head that like if I would have jokes where there would be pauses because like I think that that's good. I've seen people do it and I think it's funny. So I'm going to do that because I think it's funny. And then I would do them and they would like not work at all. And then I get in my head about like why can Marc do that and Cole can't do that? And the real answer is just like that. Marc's been doing it for 10, 15 years or whatever. Cole's been doing it for 6 months. Like that's what it is. You learn the timing and you learn where to put the pauses and you learn when it's a good idea and why it's a good idea.
Well, another thing about it, which is unfortunate, is that it's not going to work the same way with Marc that it will with Cole because you have a different face and voice and body.
Yeah, exactly. It's entirely different.
You can't do it the same way I do it, nor can I do it the same way. You know, I can't roll the same way Farley did, man. I don't know. I just don't have the mechanics. But Farley was like so in tune with how to make people laugh with his body.
Yeah.
He just knew it that well.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing, right? And that's why I think the reason that I am into like that I like hearing about people's hobbies is I love the progression of things. Like I like starting something. I love learning. I like starting something and I like the process of being really shit at it and getting to a point where I'm happy with it. And I like seeing other people because other people will talk about it and you'll see the evolution of it in front of you. It's the exact same thing with comedy where someone starts and they have like a joke that's kind of funny. It's the same thing you were talking about actually when you were talking about how going to different open mics and seeing someone come up with a joke that's kind of funny and then they do it 200 times and now it's really funny.
Yeah.
Like that with
they trimmed everything that didn't work and they polished everything that did.
And it's the same thing with anything. Like that's like skateboarding, guitar, like anything that you're gonna learn. It's the same thing where you start and you suck and it sucks to suck.
Yeah.
And there's
it hurts.
The only way to get out of it is to not suck or to stop doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm firmly in camp not suck. Like I'm like if I really want to like I picked up my COVID project was bass guitar.
Oh,
and so I started and I've always wanted to play bass guitar since like a really little kid. So in my head, it was me going I'm gonna learn this. I want to learn this, and this song in order to get in order to be able to do the like I want to be Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Primus? Oh, you want to be Flea? Okay,
oh God, I would love to be, dude. We could do a whole podcast talking about Primus.
Yeah,
I don't remember, but oh God, fuck, I love Primus. Anyway,
he's so good.
Like I want to learn all the pops and flicks and all that shit. But in order to learn that, I have to play Another One Bites the Dust 600 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. and your fingers get callous and stuff. You just kind of have to build that. And
I had the worst when I first started. These fingers and this thumb, I had the biggest, fattest blisters on them. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything with my right hand. They were disgusting.
Probably like after playing for like 20 minutes, you're like, oh my God,
yeah,
my hand is a mess.
Yeah, I played for like a week straight. I played every day for like 2 hours because I just wanted to learn. Yeah. And then by the end, like I said, next week I was like, I couldn't play video games. Like my right hand was fucked.
Jesus.
And I had to just wait. And then
it kind of happened with the what I was talking about, the switch frontside shove it off the curb, the bales. I did land it eventually, thank God. But the next like 2 days, I couldn't walk. I was like, oh man, I fucked up myself so bad. Whoops.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't want to do that. I don't want to be a 33-year-old who has a broken arm because of skateboarding. So that's why people are like, do you ever do like stairs and stuff? I'm like, not really.
Yeah, it's not worth it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I have done a lot of stair things, and I had a great time doing it when I was a kid. But I don't know. It's fine. It's fine that I don't attempt the stair thing. I'm having a great time trying this backside 180 into the bank.
I think that's what's important, and I think you'll agree with this. It's just like you're having a good time doing your hobby, man.
Yeah, that's especially what a hobby's for. But sometimes, skateboarding especially, it does get like frustrating where it's like,
oh yeah,
man, I've been trying this forever and I suck. Like,
yeah,
there's a list of 22 tricks that I try to land every time I go out, and and so I've been doing it 5 days a week, I guess, for all of pandemic.
Yeah,
where I have landed this trick every day, you know what I mean? Like, but why is it still so fucking hard? Like, why do some days I just can't land this at all?
Yeah.
I tried to do like an ollie the other day, like a basic little jump on a, and my wheels kind of bit into the ground. I went flying and I was like on a basic ollie, I can't even do this on like the flat ground. Like, God damn it. So sometimes you can get frustrated, but that's another thing, I guess, of like learning to cope with frustration and deal with it.
That's the thing about, I don't remember who said it. There was someone who said, learning is about failing. Yeah. And that's like the only way to learn something is to be really good at failing. I don't remember who said that. Something along those lines.
Past the failure, yeah.
Yeah, and it's exactly that. I mean, skateboarding is obviously a little different because it's like I'm learning to be a podcast host. I'm not going to break my arm doing this. Like,
no, you're definitely
the worst that's going to happen is I might say something stupid and feel bad about it. Let me ask you this though, because I've seen this in all your skateboarding videos. We're talking about being 30 plus and skateboarding and getting injured all the time. But you do it shirtless and no helmet, no knee pads, no elbow pads.
The elbow pads and knee pads I probably should have on. You're right, but the shirtless thing, we were talking about this. It's just being out of shape and sweaty and gross. Yeah, like 9 minutes. I'm so disgusting. And then another cool thing is that I'm like, well, this shirt's disgusting, so I take it off, and then I'm like, oh, actually, I can now use this shirt as an obstacle. I can lay it on the ground and then try to do tricks over it.
Gotta jump over the shirt now.
Not very tall.
Yeah.
And so I should be able to clear it. But jumping, this is another thing that skateboarders will agree with. Doing a frontside 180 and then doing a pre-coordinated frontside 180 over a crack are way harder than each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're doing a frontside 180 on your own terms, you can wait, you can bend, you can reset.
Yeah, you can do it whenever.
This obstacle's coming towards you. You have to do it. Yeah. And it's just a shirt. It's like not even half an inch tall when it's laid flat. But that half an inch is enough to fuck you up and screw up your timing and all this kind of stuff. Oh man, it's cool. I like that.
So what's the adrenaline like when you get that? Because you say, if you're doing just like a trick at your own pace whenever you want to, you have like a whole airstrip in front of you to do your trick on. Sure. You can do it whenever. Or like when you're getting up to it, you're like, fuck, like I gotta do this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I gotta jump. Like,
yeah, it's scary when because sometimes you ride up to it going like, oh, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Like my feet are in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And then can you learn to bail appropriately? Mm-hmm. again, this is about how do you fail okay, so that you don't get a cut on your damn palm.
Yeah.
And it's happened a couple times where it's like, I have one on my phone right now of me doing a switch ollie. So it's my opposite feet. I'm using my weak foot to spring off the back of the board, and I go over the shirt and into the bank, like into this downhill thing.
Yeah.
And you can hear me go, whoa, like as soon as because I do clear the shirt, but the board doesn't kind of like, when you pop and lift it, you want it to be kind of stuck to your feet,
Yeah.
And it gets a little floppy and it shakes a little second. So when I land on the downhill and it's still like my foot hits it a second later and this isn't right at all. And now I'm booking down this hill crazy fast with my opposite, like my shoulders kind of in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And I bail appropriately, but I run out backwards. Like I have to, it's kind of an interesting looking bail. But I don't know if it's cool enough to post on Instagram.
Yeah. I think bails are always cool enough to post.
Yeah, I've been doing this thing now called Slippery Sundays, where I post my favorite bails of the week. And if if I'm really lucky, I will post the successful landing of the trick I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this is crazy, eh? We finished the whole video.
There you go, man. I'm telling you, time flies on this show like nothing else.
I know, yeah.
It's crazy.
I hope you had something out of the corner of your eye. Being like, holy crap, this is insane.
Oh my God. I legitimately, again, I don't know jack shit about skateboarding, but I can watch skateboarding pretty much all day. Like I could sit, like I remember I was a kid and I would watch the X Games. I'd have basically no fucking clue what was going on.
Yeah, right.
But I'd watch it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, some like stupid time slot that no one's gonna watch. I'm in my basement watching, I don't know who any of the people are, and I'm just vibing, man. I love that.
I used to do this a lot whenever I had to wait for someone to get ready.
Yeah.
Give me like 10 minutes. I'm like, all right, skateboard time. Turn on a skate video, watch it. Because and nowadays things are being released in like parts rather than full videos, I feel like. So, this is just, this guy's new part came out. It's 7 minutes long. And, all right, well, that gives me something to watch while I'm waiting for my friend to get ready. Then they come out and you go, okay, great, perfect. I don't know. It's like a kind of a good time frame rather than watching an episode of TV or something.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway.
We got through our whole video, our whole skate video. I like that the credits are just them blundering, because again, I do love watching a good bail.
Yeah, the wipeouts or whatever. Some of these are actually true. I think this is Day One song, and he manuals all the way up. Yeah, he manuals up a staircase.
That's insane.
Which is unreal, yeah.
Man. Before we get into our last segment, I want to do, we always try and get one question from social media, and if anyone wants to get a question into the podcast, we have a new Twitter account. It's Let's Be Best Pod, so send any of your questions, concerns, comments to there, at Let's Be Best Friends Pod on Twitter, or you can always go to me, at OldKingCake on every social media. I take all the questions. Our question from social media today is, what do you love to eat but hate to cook? Or vice versa.
What? The vice versa would be hilarious.
Yeah.
What do I love cooking but hate eating?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I am more interested in that question.
Okay.
I know. Love to cook but hate eating. I don't know. The first thing that comes to mind is like KD or something. You know what I mean? Because it's nostalgic, I suppose, to cook KD.
Yeah, but you don't like eating it? Because I'll
you're
still
right,
muck a pot of KD.
No, but because you feel pretty gross.
Oh yeah, but in the moment, I'm very into it.
Yeah. That's I think that might be the closest thing I have to that answer.
Yeah.
I'm not a culinarily experienced dude.
Okay.
I got some great genetics from my grandpa who ate the same thing every day and didn't notice or care.
Didn't give a shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't care at all.
That's a gift.
Which is I like a lot, you know what I mean? But it's not very inspiring, you know what I mean? Like, and I've never, as a result, like in the long-term relationships I've been in, they weren't like one of them, she was like amazed that I could make KD. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like,
I love it.
Wow, noodles, this is awesome. We were broke anyway, you know what I mean?
Hold on to that as long as you can.
Yeah. But I'm starting now to kind of like do more things. Like one bad habit that I'm getting into is I find like some new dish or whatever, and I'm like, oh, wicked. Okay, this will be another one of my like 4 things that I cook every week.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, no, we should get some more dishes in here. Let's spice it up a bit. Hold on. But man, I'm having so much time with these like roast chicken thighs, and then you add like pan fried pierogies and then veggies on top of that.
Man. Oh
man. So one thing, but you don't cook this, and I would hate. I don't think I would like to go through all the trouble of doing it. But I love sushi.
Oh yeah.
But preparing it, I suppose I've never really done it. But buying that thing where you have the seaweed and rolling it up, that weird that thing made out of sticks.
Yeah.
I don't. I'll let the masters do it.
That's always been my thing. Is I'm like, you know what? They're good at it. I'm gonna let them do that.
Yeah. Have you seen that documentary, Jiro Dreams of Sushi?
No.
It's the greatest documentary of all time, and it translates perfectly to comedy.
Really? Okay.
About the love and dedication of work that you just seem to go nuts about. This sushi chef or whatever who lives in Japan is like, he's so enamored by sushi. And that's why it's called Jiro Dreams of Sushi. That he was like, I used to dream about different sushi options, and then wake up and then try to make that roll, and you know what I mean? Like you can dream about it.
It's the same thing we're talking about. It's just it's just passion, man. Passion. I think that's what makes. I love watching documentaries like that, because it's literally someone who's so passionate that he had to like make a whole movie about it, or someone had to make a whole movie about it just to be like, look at this guy, look how much he loves the thing he loves.
Yeah.
Look how cool this is. Man. I love that. I love that your answer was Katie, because in my head, I could eat Katie any day of the week.
Really? I probably could too, but you do feel bad. You're like, oh god, this is gross.
Yeah, I feel bad all the time though. I don't sleep enough. I used to smoke. I drink too much liquor. I feel bad all the time.
Right, I am a
nuclear bomb. Yeah, I'm mangled, man.
That's hilarious.
I spent my childhood falling into trees and shit. I'm dead at 40, and I acknowledge that. You know,
I like how your example too. Yeah, of like naivety was a tree one too. Of like, yeah, I could probably climb that.
That's the problem. The problem that I have yet to grow out of that. Like I'll look like I have little cousins now who are between the ages like 6 and 13. And so when the 13-year-olds are a little too old for it now, but when they were growing up, I was the closest in age to them, so I always played with them and like running around and stuff. And I can't do the running anymore. I ain't got the cardio for it. But the kids will be like, let's play tag, and they'll climb a tree. And the adults take away the climbing the tree rule. But I'm like, no, there's no rules with cousin Cole, man. Let's do it. And they'll climb the tree, and I'm like, I'm ready. I'm gonna climb the tree. If I break my back at the family reunion, I'm getting that fucking kid in the tree.
Oh my god.
That's the problem. I haven't gotten out of that mindset yet of like I'm winning tag. Like,
yeah, that's hilarious.
Fuck these 7-year-olds. I'm winning tag.
I'm so uncompetitive in that way. It's so funny. Like, yeah, whatever, you ran. Good stuff.
See, I think that's I think I remember I was playing Manhunt at a family reunion, and like I remember Manhunt. Manhunt was a big thing on my block, because my block when I was growing up was full of kids. So we would we had a group that would meet up, like the sun would go down and we'd play Manhunt, and like these were the parameters, these are the rules. This guy, like we had very strict rules. Because if you broke the rules, you're not allowed to play next week. Like, that's how it worked, right? But I was playing with my cousins, and they were like, let's play Manhunt. And I was like, okay, what's the rules? And they were like, oh, this boomer doesn't know how to play Manhunt. And I was like, all right, fuck it. Well, then let's play Manhunt.
I guess there's no rules, eh?
There's no rules. And then they were doing stuff, and they were claiming rules. And I was like, but you didn't say that. Like, they were like, oh, I was out of bounds, so you can't get me. And I'm like, there's no out of bounds. What do you mean if you're out of bounds, then you're eliminated. Then you're not allowed to play anymore. Like what do you mean?
You put yourself out of bounds. Manhunt is fantastic.
I got legitimately pissed. And that's how I know that I'm too competitive, that I got to the end of it and I was like, these fucking kids, they fucked me out of a win. And then I was like, they're like 7. I'm 24. What is wrong?
Also, there was no prize money.
Yeah, there's nothing on the line. It's the personal pride of a 24-year-old hunting down like 8 and 10-year-olds.
We used to play Manhunt in the Eaton Center. It was awesome.
Nice. Yeah. That'd be cool. That's cool.
It was big, yeah. Remember the mall? Remember pre-pandemic?
Yeah. Remember gathering with more than like 2 people at a time? Oh, crazy.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed that everybody smartens up or whatever, and we can go back to work in November so that we can go inside again.
Yeah, so we can.
I'd love to go inside in November.
I would love to be able to loiter again. I miss loitering. You know what I mean? Like not having to be anywhere, just be like, I'm just gonna go to this Tim Hortons and just chill for 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, you can't just sit in a Tim Hortons, can you?
No, because like even if they let you, I don't know about you, even if they let me sit somewhere, I feel bad about sitting there.
Yeah,
like,
well,
I'm
I
putting
just get
myself
nervous.
in danger. I'm putting these people in danger. I'm gonna go. Like,
I live right next to Dufferin Mall, and I was like, there's like a seating area, but I'm gonna be eating this with no mask on. So now I'm in this mall with no mask. I don't know, man. I don't trust a second of this.
Right? It doesn't feel good to loiter.
Yeah. I remember the good old days.
The good old days of loitering.
Yeah.
So, we've had a lovely time here. Or at least I've had a lovely time here. It's time to get into our
I've had a miserable time.
I've had an awful fucking time. It's the worst show ever. We're gonna get into our last segment here. It's called the lightning round. We call it the lightning round because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 1 minute on the clock. I'm gonna ask you as many this or that questions as we can get through in that minute.
Okay, can you give me an example of this or that question?
It's gonna be things like day or night, summer, winter, things like that. Very easy. First thought that comes to your head. Don't worry too much about it.
Sure.
At the end, I'm gonna compare your answers to the answers that I already have prepared to see how close we are to becoming best friends.
Okay. You know, best friends don't have to agree on everything anyway. Okay,
and you're absolutely right, which is part of the whole. That's part of the whole point of the podcast.
This is pretty fun. Okay, and I'd be curious to get your reasons as to why. I guess.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right, go for it, buddy.
And so if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. I'm gonna click my pen. I've got my pad in 3, 2, 1. Cookies or cake?
Cake.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs, I guess.
Computer games or console games?
Console. Yeah.
Pop music or rock music?
Rock music, sure.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffle.
Yeah, baby. Stuffed animals or dolls?
Stuffed animals, yeah.
Hot chocolate or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee. Morning or evening?
Evening.
Text message or call?
Text, yeah.
Okay. Library or museum?
Museum, yeah.
French or Spanish?
French.
Summer or winter?
Summer, easy.
Theater or cinema?
Theater.
Love or money?
Love, well, yeah.
Books or movies?
Movies.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
That is our time. We got vanilla. Okay. So I'm going to calculate your score. I think this is going to be one of our highest scores yet. While I do that, I want you to tell me about the Vest of Friends.
Oh, all right, man. So I met these two guys, Reed Brackenberry and Morgan George, September 8th, 2009 was my first day of college. And Morgan George is undoubtedly the funniest person I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
And he killed me like right away. He was so funny. We got two first names, first of all. Come on.
What are you doing out here with your two first names?
I met him the day after his 19th birthday. He was so hungover, yet so happy to be there because he was really looking forward to doing the Humber Comedy program as well. That he's like, his eyes are barely open and his face is like swollen and he's like looking around. It's the funniest thing in the world. And Reed was like so quiet, but then would say like the craziest thing.
Yeah.
So and Morgan was really good friends with this guy, Evan Richardson, who was on like, again, the funniest guy. And we eventually got to do sketch together, and I learned so much about sketch by hanging out with these people. And I just wanted to impress them so bad. And so we do sketch for a long time or whatever. Mm-hmm. In March, just before the pandemic, literally 2 days before the lockdown, mm-hmm. It was our 10-year anniversary at Toronto. Wow. Got to do it 10 times, yeah. And then we've gotten to do like these fun little self-produced tours and stuff. And mm-hmm. then with this broadcasting I guess website called Never Sleeps Network. It's like a podcasting network, I guess. Mm-hmm. They let us do the Vest of Friends podcast, which now that I am not producing it and stressing out about it, all 100 episodes are on a bunch of different places where you can listen to podcasts, mm-hmm. Apple Podcasts and all that stuff. And now that I'm listening to it just as a person, I'm having the time of my life. This is, not to be biased or whatever, but I'm like, this is pretty damn funny. It's crazy. There was just so much work that went into it that it's like, I'm kind of glad all that work was sort of paid off.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you guys like podcasts, because you're already listening to podcasts, find some episodes of the Best Friends podcast. Maybe you'll recognize like some people that you might know from the sketch comedy community.
There you go.
Our episode with Colin Mockery is really fun.
You have an episode with Colin Mockery?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do sketch with Colin Mockery and do improv, or talk about improv. It's insane how witty that guy is.
Oh my god, he's
like
crazy.
Every joke is like locked and loaded, just comes out so fast. It's crazy how funny he is, and so clever, like turns of phrase and stuff.
Yeah,
oh, man.
You can tell he's got the mind for it.
Community too, like Hunter Collins and Jeff Paul, and oh man, a lot of people you might recognize. Steph Tolev. But yeah. Go nuts and listen to podcasts. It says I'm having a great time listening to them. So
that's what's important.
Join me. It's fun.
So it's Best of Friends podcast. It's on what did you say the network was?
If you go to neversleepsnetwork.com.
There you go.
All little letters and stuff. Yeah, you'll be able to find it on there. They have a bunch of different podcasts on that network, and so check out everything they're doing.
So. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of our podcast. Mm-hmm. Again, I want to thank you so much for being on here. I want to tell you that you have scored the highest score in Let's Be Best Friends history.
Hey,
you have gotten.
I might change some of these answers though, now that I kind of, one of them I was like, oh, that's probably what he means though. Shit. Okay. So
which one do you want to change out of curiosity?
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of curious. So theater versus cinema.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like watching a live show versus a movie?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Okay.
Because I thought you were talking about the pretentiousness of somebody saying, "Are we going
like
to the
verbiage theater versus cinema?" I don't think anyone has ever said the word cinema in their lives.
I think pretentious people do.
Possibly, but I mean,
it's like, are we going to the cinema tonight?
I'm pretty rednecky, so for me, it's like,
right.
I've never met anyone who said cinema, and if I have, I've surely blocked them out. I've been like, I don't know who this person is anymore.
Well, you said cinema in this thing. You know what I mean?
It's not my list of questions. I'll keep it a buck with you. This is lifehacks.io/this-that-or-that-questions.
Okay, I see.
You scored a grand total of 14 out of 16. We only differed on 2 answers. That's crazy.
The French-Spanish one's an interesting one too. I don't really know. I said French because I speak French, and I got Belgian history and stuff. But Spanish is pretty cool,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, none of it's written in stone. At the end of the day, for me, like, I've changed some of these answers since starting the podcast. Pop music and rock music I swap on all the time. It depends on how often Ariana Grande puts out a song.
I just kind of grew up with rock music.
Me too,
way more than pop. When I was a kid in the 6th grade, we had a radio station called Rock 107.3.
Yeah, baby.
I think Calgary's best rock. And then it changed to Power 107 and started playing like Backstreet Boys and all this garbage. And I was like, what? No, we had such a good thing.
We had such a good thing going.
So I kind of hated pop music for like a year for that same reason. But now I'm like, man, Ace of Base is so funny. And like,
yeah, dude.
Prozac, all these great
things.
Man,
Ace of Base, what a pull. That's a great band.
Yeah, exactly. I heard All That She Wants or whatever the other day. And I was like, this is so funny.
Mark, thank you so much for being on the show. I want to thank you for becoming my new best friend. I want to thank all the people out there, all my best friends listening at home. However you want to listen to the podcast, we're on everything. I got an email yesterday that we're on Podbean, and I don't know what that is, but I'm on it. So if you're on Podbean, there you go, brother.
Yeah. Can I ask what we were different on before?
Yeah, for sure. So summer, winter. I'm a winter guy through and through. I hate sweating.
Okay.
Big against sweating. And text message or call, I am in my heart of souls, I'm a lazy boomer, and I would rather just call people.
Interesting.
I'd rather I feel like it takes way less time. I make a lot of typos. I'm bad at texting. I don't respond. I'm a crusty old boomer at heart. But otherwise, Ace is on the board, which is crazy. I don't know what the grade on that is. I think that's like a 90 or something. That's insane. It's insane scenes here. Yeah, I want to thank you for becoming my best friend. Make sure if you're listening to the audio version, if you want to check out the skateboarding video, it's going to be in the description. You can also check out the YouTube version. You can see us as we're talking. You can watch along kind of at home with us if that's your bag. If not, listen audio. We're down for whatever. I think we did a fantastic job of metaphorically explaining skateboarding tricks.
Yeah. It was tough. It was really tough.
Mark, where can people find you on social media? What do you want to plug? This is your time right now to give yourself a little shout out, a little pat on the back.
I want people to be safe, obviously. So don't go anywhere and wear a mask, please. I'm at Hallworth Mark, and it's MARC on everything. So yeah, Instagram is and Facebook, and let's be friends on Facebook too. You know what I mean? So I haven't been tweeting anything, although I do like Twitter a lot, but I haven't been tweeting really anything these days. And support. You know who I'm going to give a shout out to? Actually, this person, Marlena Kessler, is this lady who's been running a show. She kind of built this like comedy space in her backyard called the Love Shack.
Oh, okay.
And find me on Facebook or whatever, and get a hold of me if you want to know what shows are going on, because they do shows out there like 4 or 5 times a week, and it's just so great to have a place to have work again, and get live comedy again. You know what I mean? Again, not to crap on Zoom shows, but it is so much more fun and so much better feedback when I'm doing a live show.
And it's not the same, right? We've talked about it on the show before, where it's like Zoom comedy and live stand-up comedy are entirely different stratospheres of things. So there you go.
Anyway,
do you know her social media off by hand?
Go ahead. Pardon me, buddy?
Do you know her social media off by hand?
Marlena? No. Great question.
I'll put it in. Whatever.
So sorry.
It's fine. More work for me. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, try to search Love Shack, although you're going to find all sorts of weird things.
I'll find it. I'm in all the comedy groups. I also want to give a shout out to Isabel Wing for the intro for our podcast, Let's Be Best Friends, and Seth Feldman for the outro. That is all the time we have for this week. So remember always that your mom was your best friend at one point, so give her a call, and we'll see you next week.